Hey, welcome back everybody to the Smoking DJ. Today's episode we are going to be making a boil, a Dungeness crab and shrimp boil. I'll show you guys some of the ingredients that I'm going to be working with. We already cut them up, got them ready. We got the water on, getting ready to put some of these ingredients in. But we have hot leans, we have regular beef sausage in here, plenty of it, maybe about 8 or 9 of them cut up. And so then we also have some shrimp over here. We have some beautiful shrimp already deveined. We got some lobster tails in there, and then we got the crab itself. Before we put the crab in there, we're going to show you guys how to go through and lift the apron, pull it out, clean up the top, and then break it in half and put it in there. And then here are our veggies. We're going to start with some onions, the garlic, and then potatoes. So what I'm going to do, this is coming up right now, it's heating up. So I'm just going to start with the actual onion itself, throw it in there. Be careful because the water may be hot by the time you start doing this. And again, just cut them in halves. Red potatoes are the best for the boil itself. So cut them in half. And so what we're going to do, we're going to start it off with the potatoes, with the onions. Make sure we get the garlic in there. Okay. And I got about 4 in a jumbo, right? This one's pretty big, so let's call it 6. Spread those around. And then we're going to get the rest of the potatoes in here. And with the potatoes, we cut up about 8 or 9 of them. It's not going to be a big boil, it's just something small for the family. You can make it bigger if you wish. But it's just, quick dinner. It's kind of cold outside, so something to warm our belly. So that's all in the pot already. For seasoning, we're going to be using Old Bay. Old Bay is what you want for this. And this shows on here, for crabs, for shrimp, for chicken. You can also use it for chicken, right? And this is based on the amount of water and the amount of food that you're going to be using. So what I did, I probably have about 14 to 15 cups of water in there right now, coming up to a boil. So I'm going to use maybe about a half cup of this. So some of you guys can measure. I'm just going to start throwing it in there. I want to spread it around there. Good. There we go. So about half a cup of the Old Bay. Also, what I'm going to do, just to go ahead and throw a little kick in there, I like to, you know me, I like my salt and pepper, so I want to throw some in here. Very good. And then my fine crystals. Not too much because you don't want to take away from the seasoning of the Old Bay, but get some of that in there. All right. And then I'm just going to squeeze around 2 lemons, and that'll be enough to get us started with the flavor of the lemon. Make sure you squeeze as much as you can out, and then throw it in there. Right? So there's 1/2 or 1/4, I should say. And then we're going to do the other 1/4. And what you want to do, you want to leave it in there. The reason why is because of the lemon flavor is more or less on the rind. So once it gets heated up, it releases some of that flavor into the soup as well. So let's see here. We'll do another 2 quarters here. And if you can, try to get the seeds out of it. Try not to mix up. I saw a seed in there floating right now. So take a look at it real quick. All right. There's another one in here. There we go. There we go. All right, and let me get a ladle. So I'm just going to stir this around with this paddle here. All right, we're going to let that come to a boil. We're going to leave it in there for about 15 minutes. The purpose of that is to ensure that the lemon releases the flavor, that the potatoes, the onion, everything go ahead and mesh with the seasoning that we throw in there, the Old Bay, and then eventually, oh, you know what? celery. Just cut up a little bit of the celery, put it in there, and then we will continue. The next step, we're gonna throw some the corn in there. I have about 4 corn ears of corn in there, and then we'll continue with the meat, and then lastly we'll do the lobster tail, and then the crab, and then the shrimp. The shrimp should take about 2-3 minutes to go ahead and cook. So we'll let that come to a boil again, about 15-20 minutes, and then we'll continue. See you in a bit. All right, so it's been about 15 minutes. I put the lid on here to get it going. One thing that I forgot to mention in this particular pot, down here at the bottom, now see if I can pan down. Yeah, down here at the bottom, it's got this little ring here, and the purpose is that it has a little shelf with a bunch of holes in there, and that's for the water to go ahead and boil through, and none of the contents to get stuck at the bottom. So it smells fantastic. I can smell the lemon, I can smell the Old Bay, the celery as well. So let's see how it's looking in here. Oh, look at that deal. All right, you guys kind of see down there. You can see all the boil going on right there. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna introduce the corn. And the other thing is, make sure when you guys are putting the ingredients in here, that you guys are spreading them out evenly to ensure that it doesn't go ahead and weigh on one side or the other. Especially with that little tray at the bottom, what you guys want to do is keep it even, because if it gets too heavy on one side, it could go ahead and tilt, and then it'll cause the food to go down at the bottom. So let's see here. I want to get these in here. And see, that actually stopped the boiling process, which is fine, because then we'll cover it back up and it'll get going once again. So we're going to leave that for about 5 to 6 minutes, just for the corn to be able to soften up and cook. And then we'll continue on with the lobster tails, the Dungeness crab, and then the meat. I forgot about the meat. Don't forget about the sausage. I'll probably get this going before the lobster tail. But right now what we're going to do, we're going to show you guys how to clean off the crab itself. Pulling off the apron, or holding the apron, putting it back, taking off the shell, and then cleaning it off, wiping off all the excess dirt and gunk in there, the gills, and then separating the crab. So let me get this prepped up here. All right, here we go. So we're going to grab the crab here, and I got a lovely assistant that's helping me out. Just going to pull the apron up, pull it back, pull it out. And then on the back side, there's a little button there. It's kind of soft. You push it in, and then to pull off the shell. So nice and slow. The reason why you want to make sure that you try to keep everything intact, to ensure that it gets all the gills and all that gunk and junk in there. I mean, you guys can see all of that is all the guts and everything that you don't want to eat. So we're going to continue on to removing the rest of the excess gunk that's in there. Because you don't want that. You just want to get down to the meat. Now be careful. We're also going to rinse this down to ensure that all the sand and everything else that doesn't belong, that we don't want to eat, also goes ahead and gets washed off. Okay? So yeah, you want to get rid of all the gills there.
Okay, rinse it. This is first. Yeah.
So we cleaned out that cavity there with all the excess stuff that we couldn't just pull off. And again, that kind of gives you a clearer vision as to what is still stuff that you don't want in the boil. And then eventually what you're going to do, you're going to go ahead and flip it back over, and you're going to crack it in half. And that'll help as well with some of the excess stuff, again, that you might want to get rid of.
Beautiful. Done.
There we go. All right, so it's been about 2 minutes, 2-3 minutes. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to start putting some of this sausage in here. Thank you to my assistant. I'm going to put some of the sausage in there for it to start cooking as well. Again, it started boiling up again, which is what you want. or else it wouldn't be called a boil. And again, kind of go around here. And I really like the hot links in here. But we're mixing it up, some hot links along with some beef sausage as well. So let me discard this crab shell. All right. So same thing, kind of shake it around, move it. Let's get some of that seasoning back in there. I wish you guys could smell this. It smells fantastic. I mean, the spice of the Old Bay. You can smell the lemon. I mean, the lemon is doing its job. When I stirred it earlier, some of the onion already broke apart. So that's going to go ahead and release a lot of the flavor. So let that boil back up again, and then shortly we will continue. Again, we got the lobster tails coming up next. Eventually, after the lobster tails, we'll do the crab. Again, all of this has been, I mean, it's pretty much just get it in there, heat it up, get it ready. Now, for our last step, I have a big bin, a big tin that I'm going to go and use to deposit the boil itself. I'm going to save some of the broth, and then I have some butter. And this is good practice. I cut it up into smaller pieces. What you want to do is, with that, the temperature of the broth, you want to throw that butter in there, mix it up, whisk it into it, and then put it back on top once it's in the tin, and that'll help coat everything with the butter, and it'll just make it a lot more flavorful. So we're gonna go about 5 more minutes or so, and then we'll introduce the lobster tail, then the crab, and then the shrimp. All right, guys, we're back. We're gonna go ahead and spend about 5 minutes. So now I'm gonna throw the lobster tails in here. So I think they're gonna be pretty in a bit. No color whatsoever right now, but once they get in here, make sure that those get down there. Wow. There we go. So again, we're going to leave those in there for about 6 to 8 minutes, and then we'll continue on with the crab, and that'll be another 4 or 5 minutes, and then we'll top it off with the shrimp. So I would say within 10 minutes we're going to be done. And again, we're going to throw all of that into the bin, into the tin that I have there. And then, like I mentioned, we'll get some of the broth with the butter. So see you in about 5 minutes or so. All right, now it's been about 5 minutes. Let's take a look here to see how oh yeah, look at that. Lobster's ready. It's already red. So moving on, going through the legs, the 2 halves of the crab. Let's get that in there. All right, got to get it down at the bottom here. There we go. There we go. Gotta keep these up on top. So we're going to try to keep the lobster now on top here. It doesn't need a boil anymore. It already got the flavor. We got the legs down at the bottom. And then shortly, and lastly, we're going to get these shrimpies in there. The shrimp are fast. So I'm guessing this will, based on the speed of the lobster, it'll be pretty quick to get that Dungeness crab cooked. So maybe about 3 minutes as well. And then we'll just introduce the shrimp, and we'll get that going. So I'm going to say about 3-4 minutes, get those in there, 2 minutes, and then get ready to pour it out. Okay, see you in a bit. Alrighty, and we're back. So you guys can see all that steam coming up. It's boiling. Oh, there we go. That's nice. Oh yeah, look at that. Pretty good. So let me make some room before the shrimp is here. You know what? I'm gonna put them in here with my hand. Make sure those get down there. Scoot this around this way. Get those in there. And already they're turning color, so I mean the shrimp's gonna cook fairly quickly. It'll be fast. So let me see here. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna throw these in here, and then I'm gonna prep the tin where I'm gonna deposit the boil. And see, as soon as you introduce something new, look at that. I mean, these crabs are already cooking. The ones that made it into the water. So I want to make sure that all of that makes it in there first. Here we go. Oh yeah, the corn is juicy. The Dungeness is done. The lobster tails are done. All right, I'm gonna close this up for about a minute or so, and then we should be good to go. So when I come back, I'm gonna have my tin here, and then I'll just pour it out, and then I'll show you guys with the broth and the butter. All right, and now I'm gonna go ahead and turn it off. Let me take the lid off. Let me just double check this deal. Oh yeah. There's that. Shrimpies are done. Lobster deal done. Crabs done. Beautiful. Mark this deal. So, let me show you guys. If you guys want to have one of these, it's fine. Some people just like to go ahead and scoop out the contents of the bucket here. Make sure I got a good grip on this. Look at that. That's all flavor right in that juice. I'm gonna do that for a little bit, and like I had mentioned, I want to get about a cup of this broth. Okay, very nice. And then I'm gonna grab the butter. Use about half a stick of the butter. And I'll show you guys here. There you go. Just start throwing that in there. It should start melting, obviously, with the heat. There you go. And then I'm going to have my lovely assistant. She's going to whisk it over here on the side while I continue trying to go through and empty this out. There you go. I'm going to start doing this because I don't want too much juice in there. Some people, what they do, they discard the actual broth itself, and they just lay it out on paper, on a table. They just throw it on there. I like to keep some of the broth because it keeps it going here. Look at that. Look at this damn. Ooh-wee. That's nice right there. Okay. The shrimp, done. Oh man, I'm getting down to the potatoes now, and I'm squeezing a little hard. Remember, the potatoes have been in there the longest, so you want to make sure that you don't squeeze too hard to damage them. So, we'll grab some of these corn. There we go. And again, I mean, you guys can see in here. I mean, it's looking real nice. I already have some more, I'll show you guys over here. I have some more lemons cut up, right? And the purpose of that is just to give it one last squeeze on top with the butter itself. So we'll continue doing this. So I'm going to continue moving them over. I'll come back in about a minute or so and show you guys what we're going to do with this butter. All right, so I went ahead and I pulled the stuff out again. We got the lobster tail. We got the crab. We got the shrimpies. I mean, potatoes are super soft. They're ready to fall apart. And here's the broth with the butter. Again, look at that color. And what you want to do is just throw that on top here. And what that's going to do, that's going to coat it with that butter flavor. Butter is fantastic. It is so good. We're going to let that sit for a couple minutes, let it cool down, and then we'll serve a plate. I will show you guys the end result. I think I might use a bowl for this. So, great, easy cook. Not much to do except make sure that you tend to it and add the ingredients at the right time. So, see you guys in a bit. I'll show you guys the picture. Actually, not see you guys in a bit. This is done. I'm ready to eat. Have a great day. Go ahead and tell your friends to subscribe, like the channel. Talk to you soon. Bye.